We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
You trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us somehow.
At the press conference, Gervonta, Tank, Davis raised the tension when he directly threatened Jake Paul with a harsh warning. He made it clear that he plans to finish the fight brutally and leave no doubts about the outcome. Davis said he is coming to knock Jake out and take the bag, showing full confidence in his power and determination.
He's a fighter that just started fighting. You know how when somebody first come in the gym and yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they've been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the everything down packed, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is somebody, I don't want to call them names, but awkward is different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Eddie Hearn did not hold back when giving his opinion on the highly unusual matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He pointed out the clear difference between genuine boxing and staged entertainment, stating this fight falls firmly into the latter. For him, it's not a test of skill or sporting credibility, but a spectacle meant to grab attention. Hearn found it hilarious and emphasized that such exhibitions should not be mistaken for professional boxing at the highest level, reflecting the concern among traditional promoters that entertainment-based matches are overshadowing the sport's true essence.
We're getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. With, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, I understand the market and I understand this freak show, shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. Now, whether you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Ariel Helwani offered a different perspective, noting that fans often accept and enjoy unconventional spectacles in MMA, yet react negatively when similar events occur in boxing. He called this an unfair double standard, believing that while the Davis vs. Paul fight isn't traditional boxing, it offers entertainment value for audiences. Helwani stressed that the fight shouldn't be judged by the standards of title bouts or sanctioned events, but seen as a one-off show. If fans can embrace spectacle fights in other combat sports, he argues, boxing fans should be able to enjoy this contest without excessive criticism.
Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. How much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, Pete? In MMA, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks. There's no doubt about that. But I will say,
you agree, right, or no?
Yeah. The idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, "Oh, we're gonna watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental what we're going to watch here." I think where people get annoyed with Jake is like, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. Like this is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'd be like, this is fucking ridiculous and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all...
Chael Sonnen was more critical, questioning Jake Paul's abilities as a boxer. He argued that the Paul brothers rely on fame and wealth rather than real boxing skills to secure fights with big names. Sonnen pointed out Jake Paul's pattern of facing legends or skilled fighters despite the clear gap in technical expertise. According to him, these bouts focus on money and attention rather than fairness or competitive balance. His critique reflects the view of many who see this fight as a money-driven spectacle rather than a true test of boxing talent.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pound. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum.
The size difference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul is one of the most debated aspects of this exhibition. Davis is a natural lightweight, while Paul competes closer to cruiserweight, creating a massive weight gap. This has led some to speculate that the match could be predetermined. Analysts argue that regardless of the result, the fight favors Jake Paul. A win boosts his credibility against the star boxer, while a loss would likely be dismissed due to the size mismatch. These concerns have fueled rumors that the outcome may already be arranged to benefit Paul's career trajectory.
Should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. Do you think Do you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro.
That's
what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a little
6'1".
man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a way you want it.
Ryan Garcia compared this event to past controversial matchups in boxing, like Mike Tyson's exhibitions that fans didn't ask for. He acknowledged that the public isn't clamoring for Davis versus Paul either, but noted that the boxing world sometimes moves forward with such spectacles regardless. Garcia emphasized that Davis is much smaller than Paul, making the fight inherently unfair. He believes that even if fans are uneasy about the matchup, they will ultimately accept it due to the hype and financial incentives driving it.
A fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like the Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it, but
yeah,
he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, he's small.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
Jake Paul stirred the tension further by taunting Davis with a signature publicity stunt. In a video, he destroyed a cake shaped like Davis, mocking his opponent. The act aimed to humiliate and provoke Davis while generating significant online buzz. Known for his promotional skills, Paul's gesture made headlines and fueled the rivalry narrative, reminding fans that he thrives on mind games and spectacle as much as actual fighting. Watching Davis step into the ring against someone as large as Jake Paul will be surreal. The size difference is striking, but Davis holds major advantages in skill, speed, and defense. His footwork lets him move quickly and evade heavy shots. While Paul may try to use his size and reach, hitting a smaller, elusive opponent like Davis could be challenging. Davis's defensive and counterpunching abilities may create opportunities despite the weight and height gap. The fight's intrigue lies in this clash of skill versus size.
Why is Gervonta Davis fighting a guy that big? There is some interest to that because you're not going to see Gervonta Davis. You're going to be able to see Gervonta Davis's feet. That's what I'm going to be interested to see because I don't think Gervonta is going to jump out there and try to run up into Jake Paul and try to knock Jake Paul out. What I think Gervonta is going to do is Gervonta is going to move his feet, just going to move, make Jake Paul miss a lot, make Jake Paul look really dumb just by using defense on him and making him swing at the wind because that is going to be very tough for him to hit a guy that is that little. If you play basketball, for example, and you are a tall 6'1" guy and you try to stand in front of some 5'8", real quick 5'8" guy, trust me, their first steps are going up out of there, those little teeny weeny dudes. So that's going to be very fun and interesting to watch how that goes down. Now, on the other side, you know what Jake Paul's going to do. He don't have no consciousness. He doesn't have a conscience about what he's trying to do. He's going to go in there try to hurt a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He don't care. He wanted to hit Nate. He's way bigger than Nate Jones when he fought Nate Jones. You think he didn't care about hitting Nate Jones upside the head? He's definitely going to be looking to try to get as much as he can get off on Gervonta Davis and I see him trying to run up on him, trying to maul him, trying to grab him, trying to club him, trying to do all kind of craziness, man. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, let me tell you what I really hope, and I haven't seen for this particular card, but I know that I know it's going to be good, which is the undercard. The undercard for the Canelo Alvarez fight and Terrence Crawford fight is absolutely horrendous. There's nothing on the thing that would make you want to watch to tune into that thing.
Even Terrence Crawford, one of the top pound-for-pound boxers, dismissed the Davis versus Paul matchup as serious. He questioned how promoters could match a 195 pounds fighter with someone at 135 pounds, seeing the event more as a business move than a real fight. Crawford's reaction reflects the skepticism of many boxing professionals who view it as spectacle over sport, highlighting the divide between genuine competition and entertainment-driven bouts.
You know, this is speed and power and explosiveness combined. Like, they couldn't keep up with it.
Wanted to get your take on the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't have no reaction, you know? I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. You know, if it's scripted, then it's going to be good for the fans to watch.
What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged?
Yeah, like scripted. Like,
but none of those guys want a fucking L, right?
I think it's not a real fight. I think it's because it can't be a real fight because they ain't in the same weight. So it'd be more like an exhibition.
I think it is an exhibition, but do you think they're but not one person saying like, yo, I'm gonna fucking throw the match? You think?
I don't think.
Or you never know?
Yeah, I think they're gonna go in there and spar. I don't think it's gonna be you trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, I think it's let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Because that's what Jake and Mike kind of did.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, everyone bought into that, and then when you watched it, it was just like, bro, this sucks. I'm friends with Jake, I like him too, but that fight, I didn't like that one.
Jake too big for Tank, you know? In reality, he's way too big for Tank. Like, Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive.
Analysts have debated whether Davis's punches will significantly affect Jake Paul. In boxing, power often determines outcomes, but against a much larger opponent, Davis's shots may lose impact. Paul's body mass could absorb much of the force, making Davis's task much harder. Conversely, if Paul lands cleanly using his size advantage, the effect on Davis could be severe. This uncertainty adds tension and raises questions about whether the exhibition should take place under these conditions.
Interested to see, will it look similar to this, or will it be even more definitive in favour of Tank, like some people are suggesting? And with it being 10 rounds, like Jake Paul did start to gas at the end of his last fight. Like if that happens, maybe Tank could look at that and go, right, I'm going to work the body early, and when you do start fading, then I'm going to fucking really put the pressure on you. And it's one thing with Julio Cesar Chavez, you know, in front of you, you know, who's trying a little bit in the last 2 rounds, but Tank, even as small as he is, it will be a lot harder to keep him off. And what will Tank's power be like as a 135er? Like he's probably going to be about 150 when he gets in there, maybe. Will those punches on the big fat dome of Jake Paul actually really hurt? Because power can translate up a couple of divisions, but like that's a lot of divisions. What if Jake just takes them? No problem. I'm not saying he will, I'm just saying it would be fucking weird. This really is size versus skill in its purest form, and that is why I've got to admit I'm fascinated to see it. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed as well, because I wanted to see Tank versus Roach after they went to a draw in their last fight, a very controversial draw. I think Tank should have fucking lost it, to be honest. Tank doesn't give a shit about legacy and belts. He doesn't give 2 shits about that. He just wants money. And unfortunately, it's going to really hinder his legacy. His legacy will just be, yeah, he had a good run, but he's never going to be up there with the greats, despite his talent. That being said, if he chins Jake Paul, it won't really matter, because everyone will fucking love him, won't they? And ironically, I said Tank should be fighting Roach, but Jake Paul clearly now should be fighting Darren Till. This was Darren's fight the other night against Luke Rockhold, former UFC middleweight champion. Dropped him. Hard to watch. There was just a massive gap in ability there. Like Rockhold being like a very well-rounded fighter in MMA, but Till just such a specialist in stand-up, and it showed. And this knockout was fucking brutal. Oh god, it was a terrible one. I mean, his leg was bent back and everything.
A controversial rumor suggests that Gervonta Davis could be offered up to $200 million to intentionally lose to Jake Paul. The speculation claims Davis might accept the money, sparking outrage among fans. Many argue this would damage boxing's credibility, raising doubts about the fight's authenticity. If true, the matchup would shift from skill and legacy to pure business, leaving fans divided over whether the event is a genuine competition or staged entertainment.
Now, really, y'all worry about the wrong question. Y'all worry about Roach, but the real question is, damn, is Tank getting paid $150, $200 million to take that dive versus Jake? Is he gonna do it? Now, I'm just thinking, like, damn, like, phone them, $200 million? It's an exhibition, they gonna go on your record? Shit, what would I do? Would I take $200 million to lose a fake fight? Damn, G, Jake might win this fight, bro, because of shit. $200 million is an exhibition, y'all already talking shit. $200 million, but I'll take the dive. I think $200 million is worth taking the dive, gang. I honestly do think so. And it ain't even a real fight. I hope that's not the case, but that's a fucking solid fucking question. What the fuck is gonna happen in this fight? Like, is he gonna take the dive? It's an exhibition, so somebody gotta win. It's not real. It's like a play. When you really think about it, it's sparring. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What y'all think? What would you do? Would you take the $200 million to motherfucking lose to Jake Paul?
That's it for today's video.